Hey folks, and welcome to another West Yorkshire Retro Gamer recorded video here on YouTube. It's another Leeds United video, and I just wanted to give you an update as to the transfer activity happening at Leeds right now. As of last night, Leeds United completed the signing of Swansea City striker Joel Perreault for a reported fee of around £12 million. This is a striker who has scored over 40 goals in over 80 games over the last 2 seasons for Swansea City in the Championship. This is a proven striker. This is a player who has proven over the last 2 seasons that he knows how to score goals at this level. To have a ratio of around 1 goal in every 2 games at any level, is a real good statement of the kind of goal scorer that you can be. And the fact that it's been done in the level that we are currently playing at is a massive plus. This was one of the players that I hoped we would look at buying when I knew that we were coming down, from the Premier League. Last season the goal scoring charts was dominated by 3 players really, in Coventry's Victor Gyökeres, Swansea's Joel Perreault, and Middlesbrough's Chuba Akram. Akpom's gone to play in Holland now. He went for a reported £10 million. Gyökeres went for a reported over 20 million to go and play in Portugal. And fortunately we've been able to get the one remaining one out of that trio in Joel Perreault. He's scored lots of goals these last 2 seasons for Swansea City, and Swansea never troubled promotion, in the last 2 seasons. So just imagine what Joel Perreault can do with some better players around him. This for me is a fantastic signing at this level. Yes, it's a lot of money spent, but we've probably taken some of the funds from the Tyler Adams sale, which was over 20 million, and put it to good use on getting the signing of Joel Perreault. I think it's probably too soon for him to come into the team for this weekend's game against Ipswich. It would have been lovely to have had him ready for the game against Ipswich, but I think we are probably just a little bit too late on that one. But he's in the door now, and that is the important thing. So just to kind of have a very brief overview of the signings that we've made so far. So you'll all be aware of these now, I'm sure. Ethan Ampadu has come in, £7 million. That was a good statement of intent at the start of the transfer window there as far as Leeds were concerned. It's a good amount of money spent. A player with a little bit of pedigree. Has played quite a lot, over 40 caps for Wales as well at the age of just 22. It's a great achievement to get that many caps at that age for any country. And in the games that Ampadu has played so far, he's been one of our best players. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a great signing, and definitely takes up one of those midfield spots that was taken up previously by maybe the likes of Tyler Adams or Mark Rocker. So good signing for me as Ethan Ampadu. We then got Carl Darlow in for a report of 400,000. Straight replacement for Joe Robles. We've still got Ila Melier who I hope will continue to stay with us and will continue to be the first choice goalkeeper. Cardallo only has about 30 or 40 more games played in his professional career than Meslier, and yet he's 9 years older. This to me basically, it just shouts out backup goalkeeper, but it's a good backup to have. He had a loan spell with Hull last season for half of last season and did quite well by all accounts. Played a few games, and so our goalkeeping department, which Daniel Farker, the Leeds manager, has already said is the one position that he's absolutely fine with. He's absolutely happy with. With Meslier, Darlow, and Klassen, the goalkeeping team for this season. So a good addition, certainly for the money spent as well. Carl's about 32 years old now. It's a good age for a goalkeeper. Certainly a good age in terms of having an experienced backup there. So good signing. Sam Byram. Now this was a little bit left field in a sense because Byram has not had the best of fitness track records over the last few years. He was actually relatively injury free at Leeds when he came through the Leeds academy. But then after leaving Leeds, had a very difficult time with injuries. However, Sam came back into the Leeds fold. He played in a couple of the pre-season games. He's looked good. He's on a free transfer. It's low risk to Leeds. He was playing in the Championship as well, so his wages are not going to be through the roof. And he's 29 now. I still can't get it into my head that Sam Byram is as old as 29. It doesn't seem that long ago that he was playing for Leeds United previously. The fact that it is that long is scary. But he comes back a more experienced player, and he's done well. He's played well so far. And ironically, not in his preferred position either. He has been covering left back. I would still like Leeds to get one more left back in so that Sam might have a chance to challenge for right back, just to give Ealing that little bit of competition. I think that Cody Drameh will leave. I hope he leaves. I think it's the best move for him and for the club. It brings in a little bit more money for Leeds as well, and gets rid of a player who let's be honest, doesn't really want to be at Leeds. He's refused to stay and fight for his place before now. When he has briefly played for Leeds, he hasn't been very good. So I think it's in the club's best interest to look to move Cody Drameh on, have Sam Byram battle for the right back spot with Luke Ealing, but in the meantime Byram is more than adequately covering that left back position and doing a very good job. So a welcome addition, as I say, a good signing there in Sam Byram. Joe Rodon, another low cost signing. If we assume that the season long loan from Tottenham Hotspur is a loan fee of somewhere between 500k and £1 million, it's very rarely disclosed as to what the loan fees are these days in loans, but we would assume that it would be somewhere along those lines. Rodon's in his mid-20s, big lad, like proper built for being a centre-back, there's no doubt about that. His debut for Leeds was actually a cameo playing as a striker, believe it or not, when we were desperately trying to get a goal in the last few minutes on his debut. However, he then made his full debut in the starting position, playing in his natural centre-back position. Looked quite good. Looks fairly solid. He's quite happy to bring the ball out from the back, which I think is something that Daniel Farker wants at least one of his centre-backs to be able to do. When he was doing that, I was kind of hoping that he would kind of release the ball, make the right pass, that kind of thing, and he got it right on some occasions and not right on others. But maybe that's something that Rodon's not played a massive amount of football, I don't think, over the last few years since signing for Tottenham. So I think that's something that will improve within Joe Rodon's game the more that he plays. Rodon was a welcome addition after Liam Cooper got himself a bit of a nasty injury. once Cooper scored his goal, he landed badly and got himself injured for about 8 weeks, and he's only a couple of weeks. He's only a couple of weeks since that happened, so Roden will be a welcome addition to certainly cover Liam Cooper. We've still got the likes of Pascal Struijk and Charlie Cresswell at centre back, and Leo Hjelde can obviously cover there as well. So not worried about the centre back position. I think we're pretty well covered in general terms. And again, a low cost type signing really for Leeds. Is very low risk. It's a loan. So if Joe Roden doesn't work out for Leeds, he goes back to Tottenham. So again, not really anything lost in that regard from Leeds' point of view. And then, as we've touched on, Joel Perreault, £12 million. Pretty much the going rate for a good striker at this level, so I'm not worried about the fact that it's into double figures. As we mentioned at the start there, Perreault, very good at scoring goals at this level. Any striker that can get over 40 goals in over 80 games over 2 seasons at any level is certainly someone that can do a job at whatever level they've just done that at. So no, I'm very, very pleased that we've got Joel Perreault in at Leeds United. Just the type of striker that we're looking for, I believe. You know, he's a good size about him. He's going to bring a lot to the table. I mean, once we get Bamford fit as well, imagine what Perreault and Bamford could be like as a strike force. Possibly, if Farke can make that work. That's goals. At this level, that is goals, and you know, goals win games. You know, we've worked hard to bring in some defensive reinforcements with Byram and Roden. We've got Ethan Ampadu that's marshalling that midfield, and now, as I say, we've got Joel Perreault coming in to start bagging in the goals. I'm really, really pleased with this. I really am. You know, when you look at the squad now, we've still got a lot of injuries, but as soon as they come back, you know, the squad is then looking healthier. The uncomfortable situations that have been going on with Luis Sinisterra and Wilfred Gnonto, it looks as if those have been dealt with now. That's another 2 very good players at this level that are going to be available to Daniel Farke. I mean, the front line all of a sudden now just looks an absolute beast for this level. Perreault up front, Bamford when he gets back fit again, Sinisterra, Gnonto, Perveda's look good. You know, once he gets over his injury, you know, that's another good option to call on. Crescencio Somerville, another player who can do damage at this level. We're going to look very, very dangerous. I mean, the way that Daniel Farke is trying to get his team to play, very possession based, you know, creating chances. One of my cats is trying to get in a bag. That's the noise you can hear in the background there. Yeah, it's. I'm really pleased with this. This just gives the fans a little bit of optimism all of a sudden. It's going to take the fans a long time to get over what's gone on with Gnonto in particular, to a slightly lesser extent Sinisterra. I hope that the fans will get behind them. You know, these 2 lads have made mistakes, there's no doubt about it. I mean, as I say, Sinisterra is a different situation. There was legal weirdness about his contract, which has since been dealt with. You know, he's 23, 24 years old. You know, he's still a relatively young adult. You've got Gnonto, who's still only a teenager. You know, I don't class teenagers as adults. how many teenagers with a lot of media publicity exposure, pressure put on them, how many 19-year-olds with all of that going on, have gotten everything right without making mistakes. There's no doubt what Nonto has done was a big mistake, but Farker has had a good chat with him, a good meeting with him, and Farker has said that Nonto has apologised to him. Now, there might be fans out there that might just be thinking, he's apologised to Farker, but he's not apologised to us. Well, in my opinion, the best apology that Wilfred Nonto can give to the Leeds fans is by going on that pitch and ripping up this division. If he's as good as his title of full Italy international suggests that he is, he should be way too good for this division. And Sinisterra, he's a full Colombia international as well. That's no slouch. So you've got that. You've got Somerville, who still qualifies for the Dutch under-21s if they're interested in that at any point. He's a live wire when he gets going. Is Crescencio. Ian Poveda, as I say, he's come back into the fold and looks sharp. Once he gets back over his injury, that'll be great. And even players that I thought were out of the picture, like Dan James, even Dan James has looked quite bright so far. I don't put Dan James in the same kind of quality bracket as some of these other players that I've just mentioned, but he has started the season quite well. So credit where credit's due. But I think that Dan James may struggle to get into the team if the likes of Somerville, Sinisterra and Nonto, start playing regular. I think even Poveda might struggle to get in, but it's such great depth to have up that top end now. We really should start looking very dangerous. This style that Farker has got the team playing is a decent style of football from what we can see so far. So you can see what he's trying to get the team to do. I don't think it's a long time before we start seeing Farker ball, as some fans have already started calling it. So these are exciting times. These are exciting times. The 49ers and Parag Marath said that we were going to be trying to do an aggressive transfer market, an aggressive transfer window this summer. And what started out well, £7 million spent on Ampadu, that was quite an aggressive transfer, in terms of the fee at this level. Getting experience in like Carl Darlow and Sam Byram again, good experience signings, but in terms of aggressiveness, some fans looked at the fact that only 400k was spent on Darlow and Byram came in on a free, and some fans were kind of thinking, is this really what? Is this really the impression of an aggressive transfer window? After that, it was a season-long loan for Joe Rodon. People were wondering, have we got any money to spend? Are we going to spend any money on getting a proven striker in? And lo and behold, we've done it. We've got Joel Perreault in the door. I don't know what fans expected in terms of the kind of striker that we could get at this level, but I honestly don't think we could have got anyone better than Perreault. And Perreault's a very good signing at this level, based on his track record so far. So I have got no qualms at all, no problems at all with the business that we've done. Would I have liked to have seen a couple of extra players come in by now? Yes. However, am I disappointed with the ones we've signed? No, not at all. I think this is a good set of players here. It's 5 players who know this division, which is really important. I think if we can get another couple of signings done before the transfer window shuts, I would still like to see another fullback. Ideally a left back so that Sam Byram can be a little bit more comfortable on the right side. but again, as I say, I'm very happy to have Byron back in the team, and I didn't think I'd be saying that either, to be honest. He didn't leave on great terms all them years ago, but he's come back. He's proven his worth. He looks up for the challenge. He looks hungry and ready to play. Obviously, we were looking at Max Aarons. He then went to Bournemouth. Sorry, my cat is pushing my monitor, which my cam is sitting on. So again, the fact that we were close to getting Max Aarons suggests that we have been in the market for another fullback. So that could still happen. And if it is another fullback that can cover both left and right back the way that Sam Byram can, then at that point, then I think we're pretty stacked. I think we're pretty stacked at fullback. Junior Firpo is still injured. When he comes back, I would doubt that he'd be in Farke's plans. But again, Real Betis were interested until he got injured. So who knows with that one? I mean, all I can say really is that this signing of Joel Perreault kind of hopefully gives the fans a little bit of confidence that the club is working hard behind the scenes to get the right players in. What I am pleased about is the fact that we've not just gone willy-nilly out there and just brought in a load of players for the sake of building up a new squad. I kind of look at the recruitment that Middlesbrough have done. They've signed so many players this transfer window, and a lot of them are not proven at this level. And you look at the start they've made, they haven't started any better than us. Some people had them tipped for automatic promotion. A lot of people had them tipped for at least the playoffs. And at the moment, they've got off to a terrible start. That's despite signing a lot of players, more than us. We've signed 5 players. I think they signed over 10. And look at the start they've had. So I'm pleased that the club is focusing on quality rather than quantity. In an ideal world, you'd like both, but let's face it, there's no point having the club waste money on average players. Those 3 middle ones there, it's such a low risk to the club and could have such a large reward. As I say, Darlow's a direct replacement for Robles. Byram comes in directly to help out at fullback. Roden comes in, to help cover at centre back, especially with the injury to Liam Cooper. And then Joel Perreault comes in, that covers the injury of Bamford and more. And we're in a position now where the squad now is starting to look like a very good championship squad now. And this is what we need. We need quality coming in. There is still time, as I say, to get a couple more players in. And I think, if I was to hedge my bets, I think we will have a couple more. I don't think we're going to get a lot more. I would think 2 more. I think 2 more. There were rumours of an attacking midfielder being looked at Bayer Leverkusen over in Germany, who by all accounts looks like a reasonable player. There's been loads of rumours flying around about the possibility of Charlie Taylor coming back to the club, which again, a bit like Byram, it wasn't the best of ways that he left the club. Albeit Taylor was not helped by the manager we had at the time, Gary Monk. I will never forgive Gary Monk for the way that he kind of dealt with the situation there. And on face value, Taylor, it's kind of like oh, excuse me, kind of like a situation like what we've recently had with Nonto, a player that was badly advised and refused to play. Which is not good enough. You can't refuse to play for the club that employs you. There should be some kind of rule put in place. When you are, if any of us fans went into work and said to our manager, you know what, I refuse to work today, we'd be sacked. We would be, we'd be disciplined, and if we continued to refuse to play, we would be sacked. So, I think something really needs to be put in place. But the way that Daniel Farke has dealt with everything going on at Leeds United this summer, Daniel has shown a huge amount of professionalism with how he's dealt with it. I've been very impressed. I had kind of mixed feelings about Farke coming in. He's got a great reputation at Championship level. There's no doubt about that. But just the way that he's handled the questions in the press conferences, the way that he's trying to get the team to play, there's a lot to like. There really is. I'm feeling that bit of confidence again now, which I had at the very start of the season. I had a little bit of confidence going into it that we would make a very good push for promotion this season. The results that we've had so far then dropped my confidence a bit. And the fact that we weren't making, that many signings, at the time when we kind of felt that there was areas that we needed it with the number of injuries that we had. And then all of a sudden, just making a big marquee signing like bringing in Perot, who, it's not a case of signing in quotes a big name. We have just bought a striker with a proven goal scoring record at the Championship level, and that's massive. That's key. That is crucial to what we need right now. We need more goals, and with the service that the players around Perot can give him, who's to say that he shouldn't score another 20 goals this season? And I'm sure the fans will give him a chance. I'm sure the fans don't expect Perot to simply walk onto that pitch and score a goal with his first touch. You know what I mean? He's going to be given time. If he goes on a bit of a streak where he doesn't score, let's just keep getting behind him like we have with so many other strikers that have come into Leeds previously. We are known to be a club that will get behind the players that come in, when they're first bought, and then it's down to the players to prove themselves. So, like any of these other players, Perot has got to prove himself now at Leeds United. He proved himself at Swansea. Now he needs to prove himself at Leeds United. This is a new chapter for him. It's a new chapter for Leeds as well. And I, for one, I can't wait to see him in action. I think that the Ipswich game will be too soon for him. He might squeeze onto the bench, maybe, but I don't think he'll have got any training in. It's an away game, so the players will have had to travel over to Portman Road at Ipswich, and with the fact that Joel, he'll have done all of his photo shoot and all this kind of thing last night, so I think that the Ipswich game will be too soon for him, but there's no reason why he shouldn't feature in the game after the Ipswich game. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Joel can bring to the table. I'm looking forward to seeing if we can make a couple of additional signings between now and the end of the transfer window. The squad is looking that bit better again now that we've got a good striker in. Let's get another good fullback in, preferably a left back, so that Sam can concentrate on pushing Ayling on the right hand side. But if not, at least some kind of fullback. Jamie Shackleton can cover fullback, but Jamie Shackleton at the moment, he's been used everywhere this season, and we're only a few games in. And Jamie's looked excellent. He's looked very, very good. He hasn't had a lot of praise from people, but I think he's looked very good so far when he's been used. And I'm very pleased the club's kept hold of both him and Charlie Cresswell. After they both had good loan spells at Millwall last season. So, yep, bring it on, people. Let's see how we do against Ipswich. Ipswich have had a great start this season, so this is not going to be an easy game, even though they've only just been promoted. But let's go there with a bit of confidence. Let's see if we can get a result. A draw's not the worst result at this stage, whilst we're still getting players back into things and still getting used to Farke's tactics. If we can't win the game, at least don't lose it. And with the form that Ipswich have started on this season, I think a draw would be very credible. But a win, so ideal. That'd really kickstart our season. And it's not about what Ipswich do, it's always about what Leeds United do on that pitch. So all the best to Daniel Farke and the players for this weekend. To any of the fans going to Portman Road, I hope you enjoy it. Let's see what we can do. Ipswich are flying at the moment. Ben Bloom will obviously be cheering his team on as he does. Ben, I like you as a YouTuber. I think you're really good, but sorry, mate. This is where Leeds United come to town, and I got to hope that the Mighty Whites get the 3 points. But let's see how the match pans out. Let's hope for a good game. Let's hope that we don't get any injuries or suspensions from it. This is going to be a key thing. The Leeds squad needs filling out with our players coming back and a couple of new players coming in, which, as we can clearly see, the club are working hard behind the scenes. Enjoy the game this weekend, folks. I'll be back on again with some more live stream content, video game, football, whatever. You never know what might come up on my channel now. Gonna keep the good stuff coming through, and keep an eye out for the recorded videos like this one as well. As I say, it could be about video gaming, could be about Leeds United. I am looking to do some co-streams with any of the other footballing YouTubers, and also with some of my friends in the video game streaming world as well. So keep an eye out for all of this. It's going to be really great content. Big thank you for all the support, all the subscribers, all the followers. The support is massively appreciated here at West Yorkshire Retro Gamer, and let's hope for a positive weekend. There's nothing to say that Leeds can't come away with 3 points, and their league position then will look a bit healthier as well. It's very early days. If it takes half a dozen games for us to start winning, if it takes that kind of length of time for us to start getting some form going, let's not be concerned. It's a long season, 46 games over a championship season. That's a lot of games to play. And we've also got the cup game coming up against Salford soon as well. So, again, more fun stuff. So with that in mind, folks, have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe out there. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.